Exposed, Millionaire's incredible journey. 25 years later, he discovered his hidden daughter. Jack Malone couldn't believe what he was holding. The crisp letter lay in his hands, its glare shining under the warm light of his mansion's chandelier. 25 years of hard work, climbing from a humble carpenter to a self-made millionaire, and it was all about to change with one shocking revelation. "You have a daughter," the words echoed in his mind like thunder. Just as quickly as the American dream had cradled him in its embrace, the past had come knocking, and it brought guilt and heartache along with it. For 50 years, Jack had been the pride of his small town. The man who built houses, literally and metaphorically, for others. Every summer barbecue, every friendly church potluck, he was there, sharing stories and wisdom over grilled hot dogs. Everyone knew Jack, the successful builder with the big heart. But behind that affable exterior lay a secret he never anticipated: Sarah, a girl born out of a brief romance, a child of love lost. And now, he felt that love tearing at him from across years, ready to pull him in two directions. With every flicker of candlelight reflecting on the polished marble floors, Jack pondered his next steps. Should he seek her out? Could he upend the stable life he'd created? He felt torn like a canvas stretching under too much weight. If he chose to pursue this unknown relationship, how would it affect the life he'd carefully built? Yet, the mere thought of Sarah struggling as a single mother gnawed at his heart. Wasn't it his duty to reach out? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With a deep breath and a heart full of anxiety, Jack made the call. The moment he heard Sarah's voice on the other end, he felt an electric spark. So many years lost, yet here was a chance for something real, something raw. Lily, her little girl, became their shared heartbeat, a focus that drew Jack deeper into a world he once thought was far removed from his own. However, the whispers of his affluent friends began to seep in: judgmental glances, snide comments about the lesser lives Sarah and Lily embodied. Each barbecue turned into a battleground, sharp tongues darting where his heart should very well be. Jack had made a choice, and the prices appeared in ugly flashes. Yet the moment he saw Lily smile, a reflection of Sarah's younger self, he felt warmth coursing through his veins. Love was reshaping him. As the gala approached, an event meant to shine a light on his philanthropic efforts, the pressure mounted. What if tonight unveiled the truth? What if he risked it all? Just as he prepared to walk onto the grand stage, a veteran spoke about sacrifices and loss, echoing deep within him, forcing Jack's hand to tremble. It was nearing that moment of truth. Would he uphold the FAC order, or would he abandon the glittering mask for muddy boots that trod back into the chaos of authentic life? As he faced the crowd amidst applause and cheers, a question loomed in his chest. Had he truly achieved success, or had he created a gilded cage? Love pulled, desire urged. Would he embrace the beautiful chaos of family, or retreat into the hollow glory of his empire? The glitz of the evening dimmed in comparison to the longing in his heart, and as Jack took a breath, a pivotal chapter awaited, teetering on the brink of something beautiful. As Jack stood at the edge of the spotlight, his heart raced. The applause echoed around him, but all he could hear were the whispers of doubt clawing at his mind. What if they found out? What if the truth about Sarah and Lily shattered the image he had meticulously crafted over the years? Yet, a stronger voice, one that beat in time with the very pulse of his being, urged him to step forward into the light. His feet felt heavy, but he found a deep breath. He could either remain shackled to the past or step into a future filled with love and possibility. The veteran's speech had struck a chord: sacrifices, choices, and the crucial importance of standing for what truly mattered. With each passing moment, Jack could feel the weight of expectation from his friends bearing down upon him, making the air thick and stifling. But what did their opinions matter against the chance to forge a relationship with Sarah and her daughter? He stepped to the microphone, the crowd silencing in anticipation. Jack cleared his throat, his voice steady, surfaced by a tide of newfound courage. "Thank you all for being here tonight," he began, feeling the eyes of his wealthy friends drilling into him. "I stand before you not just as a businessman, but as a father to a daughter I never knew I had." Gasps echoed through the crowd, and Jack's heart raced. The moment was surreal, liberating and terrifying all at once. He took a breath and continued, 25 years ago, I made a decision that led to a life I didn't anticipate. But that life has now intertwined with another. I'm proud to say that I finally found my daughter, Sarah, and she has a daughter of her own, Lily." The murmurs rippled through the attendees, shock mingled with curiosity, scribbling faces of disbelief all around. Jack straightened his shoulders, knowing this was just the beginning. A few familiar faces frowned, but his closest friends looked on with a mix of confusion and intrigue. In that moment, he felt a rush of acceptance that warmed his chest more than any fancy cocktail ever could. Conversations erupted, animated whispers knitting through the ballroom. "Who is this girl? Is she like him?" The questions floated around him like an uninvited fog, but Jack stood firm. Behind those gossipy tones, he felt the unmistakable strength of potential: a future with Sarah and Lily. Jack was surprised to see a trio of his closest friends approaching him, their expressions softer than expected. "Jack," one of them began cautiously, "you didn't have to share this tonight. But honestly, I'm glad you did. It takes a lot of guts to be vulnerable like that." It wasn't the fierce condemnation he anticipated. Instead, there were hints of understanding, of shared history, and a rekindling of friendship amidst the chaos. "I've spent too long hiding," Jack admitted, glancing toward the entrance where Sarah stood, shy yet proud, with Lily holding her hand tightly. "This journey has humbled me, and there's no going back now." In that moment of connection, Jack saw the path ahead of him illuminated, a blend of family, beauty, and a touch of chaos that was life itself. But even as he embraced the burgeoning hope, a familiar voice at the back of his mind whispered fears of judgment and loss, tainting the exhilaration with an edge of uncertainty. As the crowd began to part, offering a view of Sarah and Lily, Jack felt a pang of desperation. What if they didn't accept them, the two he longed to be close to? What if the barriers he faced were stronger than his determination? A flicker of doubt fanned the flames of anxiety in his chest. Would he finally find acceptance, or risk everything for love? Even as the applause rang out again, it felt different, more like an echo of a distant dream. And as he stepped down from the stage, his heart echoed the words of a question only he could answer. Would he be able to navigate the storm ahead, or would it tear him apart? The answer awaited him just beyond the threshold, where love transforms strangers into family, and the journey toward acceptance began anew. What was the price of love when it meant confronting one's own past? As Jack stepped off the stage, the crowd's murmurs filled the air like a buzz of electricity. Each whisper felt like a dart, hitting him with doubts he thought he had silenced. He locked eyes with Sarah, who still lingered at the entrance, a mix of pride and apprehension etched on her face. Behind her, Lily fidgeted, her innocent curiosity palpable. They seemed like a beacon in a storm, lighting his way forward. He moved through the throng of guests, their voices blurring into a single roar, where questions darted around him, sharp and invasive. Did he really just say that? What does he expect now? Jack gritted his teeth, pushing through the pressing bodies as he focused on the two who mattered most, reminding himself that they were worth every sideways glance and moment of disbelief. As he finally reached them, a wave of warmth washed over him, erasing the chill of anxiety hanging in the air. "You did great," Sarah said softly, her voice barely above a whisper. The sincerity in her eyes made his heart swell, pushing aside the uncertainty that had plagued him moments ago. Do you think they'll accept us?" Jack asked, a tremor in his voice he couldn't quite suppress. The question hung in the air, heavy with the weight of his fears. Sarah sighed, and the look she gave him was one he'd never seen before. It was a mix of vulnerability and strength. "We can't control how they react, Jack. But what we can control is how we stand together. I'm not going anywhere." Lily tugged at her mother's skirt, her wide eyes darting between them. "Mommy, what is a father?" The innocence of her inquiry struck Jack like a lightning bolt, jolting him from his hesitations. "It's someone who loves you and looks out for you," he answered softly, kneeling to make himself eye level with her. "Like I want to do for you." Lily's response was a shy smile, one that lit up her entire face. It was a reminder that no matter the noise around him, there was a simple truth in their shared connection that no one could take away. Just then, a familiar voice cut through the ambience, sharp as glass. "You can't be serious, Jack. After all these years." It was Derek, a longtime business associate, the kind of friend who had often defined Jack's world as all business and no feelings. "A daughter you never knew existed? What kind of game are you playing here?" Jack's heart sank. The judgment in Derek's tone felt like a physical blow. He stood there, torn between defending his choice and protecting his new family. "Derek," Jack said, forcing confidence into his voice, "this is who I am now. If you can't accept that, then you don't know me at all." The words struck, echoing in his chest. He felt lighter, almost as if shedding the weight of expectations that others placed upon him. Lily watched silently, her young expression solemn, trying to grasp the tension hanging in the air. Jack turned toward her, wanting to be the calm she needed against the storm of drama swirling around them. "Let us get out of here," Sarah suggested, a hint of urgency in her words as she glanced at the increasingly hostile crowd. Jack nodded, aware that this could very well be the moment they made their stand. Leaving the cacophony behind felt liberating, yet he wondered if the real battle was just beginning. His heart raced as they stepped outside, into the cool night air, seeking solace away from the chaos. Yet as they moved toward the parking lot, Jack realized that he was not just running away. He was chasing a new beginning. A bond that had felt like a distant dream was now taking form, and for the first time in years, he felt the flicker of hope ignite in his chest. "Dad." Lily's voice broke through his thoughts. The word fell from her lips like a promise. "Yeah." Jack answered, his voice barely more than a whisper. "Can we get ice cream?" He chuckled, the tension releasing in a quiet laugh that felt foreign yet right. "Let us go get ice cream." As they headed toward the car, he glanced back at the venue. It loomed large behind him, a monument to the past he was leaving. What would tomorrow hold? Was he truly ready for everything that would come next? The chill of uncertainty lingered as he took a deep breath, focusing on the warmth radiating from Sarah and Lily beside him. Sometimes, stepping into the unknown was the only way to uncover life's sweetest surprises. But would he find the strength to weather the challenges ahead? The drive to the ice cream shop felt surreal. Wrapped in the cozy hum of the car, Jack fought to keep his attention on the road, but every few seconds, his mind wandered back to the moments in the crowd, Derek's scornful remarks echoing in his ears. He couldn't shake the unease, it felt like a storm brewing in the distance. "Did you hear about the new fancy ice cream place?" Sarah's voice pulled him back to the present. Her eyes sparkled with the excitement he hadn't realized was building inside him. "I don't think so," Jack said, trying to focus. "But as long as they have chocolate, I'm in. Trust me, you're going to love it," she assured him, her smile infectious. Meanwhile, Lily sat in the back seat, her small voice bubbling over with stories of her day, the kid at school who didn't want to share his crayons and the way her teacher read her favorite book. Jack turned the rearview mirror to catch a glimpse of her beaming face. It struck him just how wonderful, how completely and utterly unprepared he was for this role as a father. He had never imagined that one day he would be the center of someone else's world. As they arrived at the ice cream shop, the bell above the door jingled cheerfully, announcing their entrance. The shop was bright, vibrant colors splashed over the walls, and the air was filled with laughter and the sweet scent of freshly made waffle cones. Jack could see Lily's eyes widen, taking in the endless array of flavors. "What do you want, Lily? Something crazy or classic?" he asked, feeling a spark of joy. "I want bubblegum and chocolate sprinkles," she declared with glee, and Jack couldn't help but chuckle. Children had a remarkable way of combining flavors that seemed impossible, yet they wore it like a badge of honor. While Sarah ordered, Jack glanced around the shop, catching snippets of laughter and conversation. In that moment, he realized something profound: the world could be a harsh place, filled with judgment and uncertainties. But here, surrounded by joy, he felt something shift inside him. It was a reminder that love, connection, and family was stronger than any opinion that could be cast. "3 scoops of that, please," Sarah chimed, grinning as she paid. As they found a small table by the window, Jack caught a mother and daughter sharing ice cream across the way. The little girl giggled, barely able to contain her excitement as her mother wiped ice cream off her chin. It all hit him then: the laughter, the connection, the simple beauty of togetherness. "Look at that lady," Lily exclaimed, pointing. "She's funny." Jack turned back to Lily, her eyes sparkling with delight. "Yeah, she is. But I think you might be even funnier with those sprinkles all over your face." The 3 of them laughed, the joy bubbling through the air, warming Jack's heart. But then a moment of silence washed over him when he considered the impact of Derek's words. What would it mean for them moving forward? Should he embrace this new identity or dwell on the voices that questioned it? "Hey, did you ever think a kid would ask you for sprinkles?" Sarah said, laughter lighting the tone of her voice. Jack looked at her and felt an overwhelming wave of gratitude. She had stood by him when the world felt ready to push him down. "I never thought I needed this," he admitted. "But it feels right." Lily's eyes went wide again, a sugary drip of melting ice cream making its way down her arm. "I love this, Dad. This is the best day ever." In that moment, nothing else mattered. The world outside could keep its judgments and expectations. Here, they were free, bound only by love and laughter. But just as Jack started to relax, a familiar face loomed at the entrance. "Jack?" It was Derek, and his expression said it all, an unsettling mix of disbelief and something darker. Jack's heart raced. What was he doing here? And more importantly, why now? The sweetness of the moment began to fade, replaced by an impending wave of confrontation. Could Jack find his footing and stand strong in the face of Derek's judgment once more? Would their bright bubble of joy withstand the oncoming storm? Jack's heart pounded in his chest as Derek stepped further inside the ice cream shop, the air around them buzzing with laughter and delight fading into a tense silence. The clinking of spoons and the cheerful chatter felt suddenly distant, as if they were in a bubble where only Jack and Derek existed. Lily, oblivious, continued giggling over her colorful ice cream creation, while Sarah's expression shifted from joy to concern. "Jack?" Derek said again, his voice low yet filled with an unsettling authority. Jack forced himself to take a breath. "What are you doing here, Derek?" The words came out sharper than he intended. "You didn't think I wouldn't find out, did you?" Derek challenged, taking a step closer. The tightness in Jack's chest was almost suffocating. "Find out what?" Jack's hands clenched around the table, willing himself to remain calm. "About you. That you're playing house now." Derek gestured dramatically, looking at Sarah, then at Lily, who was now engrossed in trying to catch an ice cream drip before it fell onto her dress. "How adorable. I never took you for the dad type." Jack's voice trembled only slightly as he responded. "I'm not sure what you're trying to prove, Derek." This he swept his hand around the room, encompassing the laughter and life. "This is my family." Derek's eyes narrowed, his smirk fading into something colder. "Family? Seems a little desperate, don't you think? You've taken the easy route, Jack. Hiding behind them." Jack felt a surge of anger boil beneath his skin. "Hiding? This isn't hiding, this is living. These two," he gestured to Sarah and Lily, "make me want to be better." Lily looked up, her ice cream momentarily forgotten. "Who asked that, Daddy?" she asked, her innocence shining like a beacon in the brewing storm. Derek opened his mouth, but Jack cut him off, kneeling beside Lily, focusing entirely on her. "This is just a friend who needs to leave us alone, sweetie. Why don't you tell Sarah about the rainbow sprinkles?" "Yeah. I got rainbow sprinkles and they look like critters," Lily chirped, turning her attention back to Sarah, her giggles bringing warmth back into the atmosphere, but Jack could feel Derek's glare burning into his back. "Cute little family you've got," Derek mocked, crossing his arms. "But what is going to happen when reality hits, Jack? When you can't keep running from who you used to be?" The air between them thickened, tension crackling like static. Jack took a deep breath, searching for the ground beneath him. "I'm not running. I'm just choosing who I want to be." "Choosing?" Derek scoffed. "You think picking ice cream flavors is the same as choosing who you are? You'll always be that same guy, Jack. And sooner or later, they'll see it too." Jack stood up slowly, forcing himself to meet Derek's gaze, feeling as if the entire shop was holding its breath. "I know who I am, Derek. I'm their dad. And I want to let you tear that down." Derek chuckled bitterly, but there was a flicker of surprise in his eyes. "You'll regret this, Jack. You're not the only one with a stake in the past." Before Jack could respond, Sarah stood up, shooting him a look filled with worry. "Jack, let's just," but Derek had turned to leave, throwing one last comment over his shoulder. "We'll see how long this charade can last, Jack." His voice lingered in the air like a death knell. As the door closed behind him, Jack felt a chill sweep through the shop. Lily and Sarah looked up at him, their expressions mixed with confusion and concern. "Is he mean, Dad?" Lily asked, glancing back toward the door. "No, honey. Just misguided," Jack murmured, each word weighed down with emotion he struggled to process. Jack's heart ached for the fragile piece of the evening, now shattered. He knelt back down to her level. "Hey, you know what? We're going to have the best ice cream day ever. Right?" Sarah reached for his hand, squeezing it gently, a silent gesture of support as Jack forced a smile for Lily's sake. But a storm was brewing inside him, darker and more turbulent than he'd expected. As they sat back down, Jack realized he was standing at a crossroads. The choices he'd made felt suddenly precarious, teetering along the tightrope of his past and present. What would happen when the dust settled? Would he be able to hold on to his new family amidst the chaos? Or would Derek's shadow loom over them, unshakable and threatening? The answer was out there, waiting on the horizon, and Jack could feel it approaching fast. Jack's smile faltered as he tried to pay attention to Lily's animated stories about her ice cream. Sarah's fingers intertwined with his felt reassuring, but underneath that comfort lay an uneasiness that ebbed and flowed through him like the ice cream melts on Lily's cone. "Are you okay, Jack?" Sarah whispered, breaking through the whirlwind in his mind. The warmth of her concern glowed softly against the chill that Derek had left behind. "Yeah, just fine," he replied, though the words tasted bitter in his mouth. A shallow laugh escaped him as he watched Lily trying to mound her ice cream to resemble a cartoon character. Who knew sprinkles would be such a distraction? Lily giggled, her eyes sparkling as she piled more onto her cone. "I'm making a rainbow ice cream monster. Looks like a masterpiece," he said, forcing another smile. But his mind was far from the colorful realms of ice cream art. It wandered back to Derek's words, to the threat that loomed larger than he anticipated. "Jack?" Sarah's voice broke through again, this time more probing. "You weren't just about to face Derek again, were you? You looked, I don't know, distant." "No, it's just," Jack stumbled over his thoughts, searching for the right words. "I don't want you or Lily to worry. I just have to figure things out, you know." Her brow furrowed slightly, revealing the worry she tried to hide. "You can't do it alone. Whatever Derek said, you don't have to carry that burden on your own." He wanted to believe her. He wanted to cast away the suffocating past Derek represented. "It's just Derek knows things about me that could hurt you both. I don't want to drag you into my mess." "Jack. You're not a mess," she replied firmly, her eyes penetrating his guarded walls. "You've made choices that lead us here. Don't let him take that away from you." As Lily shared her imaginative plans for a pretend ice cream shop, Jack felt the weight of defining moments pressing upon him. He thought of Derek, of his past. The battle between two different Jacks, one haunted by mistakes, the other trying to be the father and partner they deserved. The ice cream shop, filled with laughter and light, reminded him how easily happiness could be tainted. "Derek doesn't care about any of this," Jack finally said, almost to himself. "All he wants is to shake me up." Lily suddenly interrupted, excitedly pointing at the window. "Look. There's a rainbow." Both adults turned to see the colorful arc glistening in the sky, a vibrant reminder of beauty amidst chaos. Jack caught Sarah's gaze, her expression softened, the flicker of hope passing between them. "That's really pretty, sweetie," Jack said, though his heart felt heavy. "But it's just a trick of the sun and rain." "Maybe," Lily beamed, "but it means good things come after bad things." Jack looked at his daughter, her innocent wisdom hitting him hard. She was right. Perhaps the storm they faced was merely part of the process, perhaps there was hope after all. "Maybe you're right, kiddo," he agreed more confidently. "Okay. So let's make our own rainbow ice cream." "Right, Daddy." Lily's joy wrapped around him like a sweet embrace, easing the tightening knot in his chest. As they returned to making their silly creations, Sarah squeezed his hand again. "No matter what, we're here with you. Don't ever doubt that." A fragile warmth wrapped around Jack, juxtaposed with the dark uncertainty Derek embodied. Suddenly, the ground felt a little steadier beneath him, but doubt still clawed at the edges of his mind. Later that evening, as they gathered their things to head home, an unexpected text pinged on his phone. He hesitated, the name on the screen catching him off guard, Derek. "What now?" Jack whispered to himself, a wave of dread washing over him. Just as he pressed the button, he felt Sarah's hand on his shoulder. "What is wrong?" "Derek, he just messaged me." "What did he say?" Words hung in the air, heavy with uncertainty, as Jack opened the message. Would it bring more chaos or clarity? What was going to unfold next? Jack stared at the screen, his heart racing as his thumb hovered over the message. The last thing he wanted was more baggage from Derek, yet he couldn't ignore the knot of curiosity twisting in his stomach. He could sense Sarah's anxiety beside him, palpable and echoed in the nervous tapping of Lily's little fingers against the table. He finally opened the text, reading the words slowly as if unraveling a web. "We need to talk. It's important. Meet me at Joe's Deli tomorrow at noon." The message was simple, urgent, yet laced with a note of menace that made Jack's skin crawl. What could Derek want now? He pictured Derek sitting there, a smirk on his face, pleased to have gotten under his skin again. As Jack's thoughts spiraled, Sarah leaned closer, her voice low and steady. "What does it say?" "He wants to meet. Tomorrow. At the deli." Jack's voice was a mere whisper, heavy with dismissive defeat. "Do you think you should?" Sarah pressed, her concern drawing his eyes to hers, a reflection of worry and strength. "This could be about you, or us. I don't know. Maybe he'll just try to intimidate me again," Jack replied, worry creasing his brow. "It's what he always does." Before Sarah could respond, Lily chimed in with enthusiasm. "Can I come with you, Dad? I'll be your secret weapon." She raised her arms in a heroic pose, but her innocence hit Jack like a slap to the face. The last thing he wanted was to expose her to Derek's venom. "No, sweetheart. This is grown-up stuff," he said, not allowing himself to dwell on the disappointment he felt at having to shield her from it. "It might not be safe." "Then make it safe," she declared, fierce determination dancing in her young eyes. In that moment, her fierce spirit lit a spark in Jack, reminding him of the father he wanted to be. "You're my dad. You can do anything. Where do you find this confidence?" he asked, wondering if he could bottle it up for himself. "From you." She grinned, her innocence washing over him like a wave, reminding him that hope lingered in unexpected places. "And from rainbows," she added with a cheeky smile, filled with the pure joy of childhood. Jack laughed softly, but concern still loomed. "You have your own battles to fight, kiddo. And I'll help you fight yours," she insisted, unshakable. Jack felt a surge of affection for her. He knew he had to make a choice. He could either continue to hide from his past or face it, for both their sakes. "All right," he finally said, gripping Sarah's hand tighter while looking at Lily. "If I go, I'm not going alone." Sarah's expression shifted, she looked at him with pride, a silent agreement forming between them. Together, they would face whatever storm Derek had brewing. "Let us go home," Jack said, his thoughts spinning while a resolve began to settle in. The weight on his shoulders lessened as he felt their support grounding him. The drive home was quiet, filled with the sound of Lily humming a tune, unconsciously weaving innocence into the fabric of their stress. Jack and Sarah exchanged glances, each lost in thought but tethered by an unspoken connection. He had no idea what tomorrow would bring. But facing Derek wouldn't just be about Jack. It would be about protecting his family, too. As they pulled into the driveway, Jack's heart raced with the knowledge that clarity often emerged from the muddle of chaos. But sometimes clarity came at a cost. When he stepped out of the car, another ping sounded from his phone. It was Eric again, almost taunting him. "Don't keep me waiting. You know how much I hate being kept waiting." Jack took a deep breath, looking up at the stars twinkling above him. Would tomorrow bring the answers he sought, or would it plunge him deeper into Derek's dark clutches? The looming question haunted him. What awaited him at Joe's Deli? Jack woke early the next morning, the sun barely creeping through the curtains. He sat up, the weight of the day ahead pressing down on him. The clock ticked mercilessly as he ran a hand through his disheveled hair, thoughts racing. What would Derek want? What kind of game was he playing this time? Lily's soft laughter bubbled from downstairs, lighting a flicker of warmth in his chest. She was blissfully unaware of the storm brewing, confident and innocent. He could hear Sarah making breakfast, the smell of pancakes drifting up like the promise of a brighter day. Jack took a deep breath, grounding himself in that moment. "Dad!" Lily shouted, her excitement slicing through his uncertainty. "Come and eat. We have to fuel you up for your big day." He couldn't help but smile at her enthusiasm. He padded downstairs, still wearing his sleep-worn face, only to find Lily standing on her chair, arms raised high as if she was about to descend from Mount Everest. "Look. I'm a pancake king," she declared, the syrupy sweetness dripping down her chin, much like her unaffected joy. "You are the pancake queen, my love," he replied, a grin breaking through the anxiety. Sarah met his gaze, a silent acknowledgement of how far they'd both come together. After breakfast, as the sun illuminated the kitchen, Jack felt a shift. He was nervous, yes, but there was also strength in knowing that he had Sarah and Lily by his side. They were his armor, his heart. Their laughter formed a barrier against the past that threatened to intrude. "Are you ready, Daddy?" Lily asked, her eyes wide with hope. She had no idea of the depths of what he was about to face. "As ready as I can be," Jack replied, tousling her hair, feeling the warmth of her spirit. They piled into the car, the atmosphere heavy with mixed emotions. The road to Joe's Deli felt longer than usual, each traffic light an eternity. Jack's knuckles whitened against the steering wheel, uncertainty coursed through him. In the distance, Joe's Deli came into view, its familiar neon sign buzzing like a warning. The moment Jack parked, he took a deep breath. Today wasn't just about him. He was doing this for them, to reclaim the strength he almost lost. Stepping out, he glanced at Sarah and Lily, who were both gazing back at him, eyes wide and filled with trust. "I'll be okay," he said, though he was still unsure of the truth in his own words. "Just remember, you're not alone," Sarah reminded him, squeezing his hand before letting go, a silent promise underlying her reassurance. Jack walked toward the door, each step heavier than the last. The clatter of dishes and quiet chatter welcomed him inside, but it felt like the tempest before a storm. He spotted Derek sitting at a table in the corner, his back straight, playing with the hem of his jacket as if he were preparing for a game of chess. Everything in Jack screamed to turn around and leave, but he took a steadying breath and approached. Derek looked up, an unsettling grin spreading across his face, a predator satisfied with the trap set. "Jack," Derek said smoothly, his voice dripping with faint sweetness that made Jack's stomach coil. "Let us get to it," Jack replied, steel in his voice. "What do you want?" Derek's grin widened. "I think you'll find this conversation enlightening." Jack felt a chill creep up his spine as Derek leaned back in his chair, the weight of past mistakes and unanswered questions hanging between them like a veil. This wasn't just about secrets anymore, it felt like the final confrontation. But as he gazed around the bustling deli, something shifted in him. He wasn't the frightened man who used to hide in the shadows. He was a father, a protector. And whatever truth Derek was about to unleash wouldn't change that. "What are you hiding?" he asked, his voice steady despite the dread curling in his stomach. Derek's smirk evaporated, replaced with a narrow-eyed focus. "Oh, but the real question is, what are you willing to lose today?" Jack's heart pounded as Derek's words curled like smoke around him. The stakes had just been raised. What did Derek mean? What was at risk here? Jack's heart raced at Derek's insinuation. What could he possibly mean? The atmosphere in the deli shifted, laughter faded into whispering conversations. It felt like they had stepped into a spotlight, with every eye subtly on them. Jack narrowed his focus. He refused to let Derek fester in the tension. "Spit it out, Derek," Jack urged, his voice firm but low enough to keep it private. "What are you playing at?" Derek leaned forward, his steely gaze never leaving Jack. "You should be careful, Jack. You have a lot to lose: the respect of your family, your job, and the peace you've fought so hard to maintain." Jack clenched his jaw, memories surfacing like ghosts of old. Regrets he thought he had buried bubbled back to the surface. The early days filled with wild choices, countless nights spent searching for answers in the bottom of a whiskey glass. But he had clawed his way back, and no one would pull him into that abyss again. "What are you saying, Derek? If you have something to share, then do it." "Quit dancing around the topic," Jack pressed, pulse hammering in his ears. Derek chuckled, the sound hollow and edged with malice. "You know what I mean. All those late nights, those texts you thought I wouldn't read. Just imagine if the truth came out. What would Lily think? What would Sarah do?" Jack felt the walls close in. The thought of Sarah and Lily being hurt crashed over him like a tidal wave. They were everything to him. The very air he breathed depended on them, and he would do anything, absolutely anything, to protect their happiness. The mere mention of their names in context made his guts churn with anger. "You wouldn't dare," he shot back, his tone slicing through the air. "Whatever dirt you think you hold doesn't scare me. I've come too far." "Is that so?" Derek replied, the corner of his mouth twitching upwards as if he enjoyed every moment of Jack's discomfort. "How it must feel to be so sure but so flawed, Jack. You're living a lie, and you know it. Just wait till your little girl finds out the truth." Jack's hands shook slightly, anger mixing with despair. Memories of late-night calls and dodged questions flashed in his mind. He had been trying to protect his family from the fallout of choices he had made years ago. But now, it felt like bubbles were surfacing, and he was holding his breath ready to drown at any moment. "Enough," he said, breathing through the tension that coiled inside him like a serpent ready to strike. "You want to play mind games? We can do that, but this isn't just about you and me anymore." He straightened himself, intention hardening like iron. "Whatever you've got, I'll face it. But don't you dare threaten my family again." Derek's expression darkened, sensing the shift. "Bold words, Jack. But maybe you should look in the mirror before you throw stones. Your past, your secrets, they might just become your downfall. How sure are you that the people you hold dear will stand by you when the reality of your past comes crashing down?" Jack stood frozen for a heartbeat. His resolve began to waver just a fraction. What if Derek's words had merit? What if everything unraveling would shatter the life he so desperately wanted to protect? As if sensing Jack's vulnerability, Derek leaned back, wearing a grin like a Cheshire cat. "We'll talk again, Jack. Just you wait." Jack turned on his heel, forcing his feet to march away from the confrontation. His mind raced, scanning for ways to keep his family safe, knowing this wasn't over. Fear mingled with determination in his spirit. He wouldn't allow Derek to control the narrative. Reaching the door, Jack paused, the smell of pancakes and coffee wafting in, a reminder of what he had to protect. How could he reassure Sarah and Lily without revealing the guillotine hanging over his head? He returned to the warmth of the cafe, the laughter of Lily echoing like a lifeline pulling him back from the edge. But as he immersed himself in the everyday joy of his family, that gnawing question still lingered: what did Derek have planned next? Would Jack be able to keep his past buried, or was it finally time for the truth to break free? Jack's heart pounded as he stepped back into the cheerful warmth of the deli, the comforting hum of daily life wrapping around him like a warm blanket. He focused on the sound of laughter, a melody of innocence belonging to Lily and Sarah. Yet, the shadows of Derek's words loomed in his mind, threatening to unravel everything he had fought for. The specter of his past felt present, like an ominous storm banked just on the horizon. Taking a deep breath, he approached their table, forcing a smile. Lily looked up, her face beaming with pure joy as she waved at him. "Daddy! Look at my ice cream monster." She held out her creation triumphantly, colorful sprinkles cascading over the sides like confetti. "Wow, that is a spectacular masterpiece," Jack exclaimed, kneeling to capture her delight. The frown that had settled on his face melted away, replaced with joy ignited by the sparkle in her eyes. "Can we make your ice cream monster too?" Lily chirped, her enthusiasm infectious. Jack glanced at Sarah, and for a fleeting moment he could see the worry etched into her features. It was a reminder that he couldn't hide his confrontation with Derek from her. But right now, he needed to focus on this moment, on this sweet slice of happiness. "Absolutely. Let us build the biggest ice cream monster together." As the three of them fell into light-hearted chatter, Jack felt the weight of Derek's threat begin to lift, if only slightly. He was reminded that love was a force stronger than the past, and he was determined to protect what mattered most. However, as the sun dipped lower in the sky, thoughts of tomorrow's unresolved confrontation loomed in the back of his mind like an unwelcome guest. Jack's phone buzzed again, a fresh text. He braced himself, but instead of Derek, it was Sarah. "Talk to me." "What did he say?" Jack texted back, "Nothing I can't handle. I'll tell you later. Just focus on the ice cream." But he could tell she wasn't convinced, and he'd have to confront the truth soon enough. Later that evening, after they returned home from the deli, he sat at the kitchen table, the silence pressing down heavily on him. The comforting warmth from the earlier moments with Lily and Sarah now felt distant. He had to tell Sarah that Derek was still lurking, still threatening to spill secrets that could shatter their new life. "Can we talk?" he asked, approaching her where she rinsed the dishes. She turned, concern furrowing her brow. "You're scaring me, Jack." "I'm sorry," he began, threading his fingers together, seeking the right words. "Derek, he is not going away. He said things, made threats about my past. I can't let it affect us, but I want you to know what is at stake." Sarah turned off the faucet, drying her hands. What could he possibly say that would change how we feel about each other? Jack sobered. "He has information about my past. About past relationships, mistakes I've made. I thought I buried all of that. When he thinks he can pull the rug out from under us," his voice trailed off, fear clawing at him. She stepped closer, her presence grounding him. "Jack. This is just speculation from a guy who clearly doesn't know the strength of what we've built." "Maybe," he admitted, "but he is right in that it was a mess back then. I don't want anyone to hurt you or Lily because of who I used to be." For a moment, silence filled the room, the gravity of his confession settling in. It was heavy, yet Sarah took a step forward, placing her hand gently on his. "You're not that person anymore. You're a father. You're a partner. You have fought for this life, Jack. I just need to protect you both. I won't let anything come between us. We can handle whatever he throws our way, together." There was fierce determination in her voice, reassurance evident in every word. "We have each other. That is what matters." Jack felt some of the tension ease, her strength wrapping around him like a shield. "Okay, I'm going to face this head on," he breathed out, resolve settling in his bones. "I'll call Derek tomorrow. I'm done living in fear. It's time he learns that he can't hold power over my family." "We'll be with you, no matter what," Sarah assured him, her eyes fierce and unwavering. As they settled in for bed, Jack's heart felt a flicker of hope that ignited in the quiet moments that lingered before sleep. With Sarah and Lily by his side, he felt prepared to face whatever storm awaited. The world outside could rage on, but within their walls was love and embrace, strong enough to weather anything. Morning arrived with golden hues spilling through the windows. Jack rose early, adrenaline coursing through him as he prepared for the confrontation. His heart thundered in his chest, and he felt the weight of the world settle squarely on his shoulders. After breakfast, he took a deep breath and dialed Derek's number. The ringing sounded like an eternity echoing in the silence of the room. Just as Jack was ready to hang up, Derek picked up. "Jack. I expected you to call," he greeted, an edge of mockery underneath his calm facade. "I want to know where this is going," Jack stated, his voice steady. "You're not going to hurt my family." A pause hung in the air before Derek responded, "Meet me at the park. We can sort this out like gentlemen. You have something I want." "What is that?" Jack felt his heart drop. He could almost hear the taunting lilt in Derek's tone. "Let us just say you're not the only one who wants to protect their family," Derek replied, his words dripping with double meanings. The weight of the world compressed onto Jack's chest. "Fine. I'll be there." As he hung up, a surge of fury coursed through him. He wouldn't let Derek bait him. This was about family, his family. And nobody would tear them apart. With renewed focus, he grabbed his jacket and left the house. He had a battle to win, not just for himself, but for Sarah and Lily. Neither of them deserved to be pulled into the chaos of his past. Today, he would carve a path forward, proving that love could conquer even the darkest shadows. Jack stepped into the park, the wind brushing against his face. His gut churned with anticipation, but he remained resolute. As he approached the meeting spot, he spotted Derek leaning against a tree, a smirk plastered across his face. "Jack. I'm glad you could make it," Derek greeted with an air of false congeniality. "What do you want?" Jack demanded, not wasting time with pleasantries. Derek stepped closer, lowering his voice as if they shared a world between just the two of them. "I just wanted to make sure you understand the stakes here. You really think you can keep your little secrets from unraveling?" Jack narrowed his gaze, firming his resolve. "You think you can intimidate me? You're mistaken. I'm not afraid of what you might expose. What I have is worth fighting for." Derek's eyes glinted with malice. "Oh, Jack. I think you'll find that once the truth comes out, your carefully built facade will crumble." Jack took a step closer. "You may think you hold the cards here, but I've seen the light. Your game ends now." Derek's smile faded slightly, surprise flickering across his features. "You're braver than I gave you credit for. But this isn't over." "Maybe not. But you're done wielding your threats like weapons against me. If you try again, you'll find out how far I'm willing to go to protect my family." With that, Jack turned to leave the park, the weight he had felt earlier beginning to lift. Hope reignited within him, and determination poured through his veins. As he walked away, he felt the stir of possibility swirling around him. He had faced his fears and had come out standing tall. In the days that followed, with each rising sun, Jack learned that love had a way of dispelling darkness. Derek's threats hadn't vanished, but the courage within him blossomed. Conversations between Jack and Sarah deepened, forging an unyielding bond. Lily continued to radiate joy, her laughter filling their home, a testament that happiness surrounded them. Eventually, Jack reached a pivotal realization. The past would always be part of his journey, but it no longer defined him. Each day was a choice, a new beginning fueled by love and hope. As he held Sarah and Lily close, Jack knew they were a team. No matter the challenges that lay ahead, they would face them together stronger, braver, ready to embrace a future woven with brighter tomorrows. The battles may continue, but Jack felt a surge of reassurance. Love would guide his way. And for Jack, that was the most powerful transformation of all, recognizing that family was everything. As they settled for a cozy movie night, Jack smiled at Lily, the flicker of the television illuminating their faces. His heart swelled with gratitude. He had found them, built something beautiful, and that was worth every fight 100 times over. Now, with laughter surrounding them, he felt a new chapter unfold, one where light banished all shadows. The battle was his, but love was their victory. And it was just the beginning. Now is your time to join this journey. You need to subscribe now to catch the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to fuel the algorithm and help spread the love. Comment below with your thoughts and feelings about Jack's transformation. And don't wait not even one more second to share this story with at least 5 friends who need to see how powerful love can be. Your support helps us build this community together.